What do big rig truckers really think about Hotshotters?
Good place to pull over as any, I guess, a cowboy church on 287, Henrietta, Texas. It's getting close to 9 o'clock. Still got a few hours to get down to Tyler. I didn't really film a whole lot today because I didn't really do much. I mean, I stopped and did a little diatribe at a rest area in Donley County a ways back about should you lease on or should you start your own authority. Okay, so lease on or start your own authority. That's going to be different for everybody. I can't answer that specifically for you personally, but I can give you some information of the pros and cons for each. The first major benefit to starting your own authority, of course, is you don't have to share the money with anybody. But the flip side to that coin is you have to do everything. You have to fill out all the carrier packets with the new brokers. You have to fill out your rate confirmations. You have to update the brokers when they're asking you for your updated ETAs. You have to submit all your paperwork for factoring to get paid, or you have to hire somebody to do some of that stuff for you. And that's probably going to cost you, I don't know, 3% or something like that. Not a whole lot. But starting your own authority costs some upfront money. Costs you about $2 to $3 grand, just depending on your situation. You have to pay for insurance, which is usually whatever your monthly premium is going to be times 2. So if your insurance is $1,000 a month, it's going to be around $2,000 to get that insurance set up. Then you have your filing fees for your FMCSA and your LLC and all that stuff. It's just a few $100 here or there. So, you know, $2-3 grand depending on what year your vehicle is, how good your credit is, because insurance companies like Progressive look at your credit score to determine your rates, partially. But one downside to starting your own authority is most brokers have a minimum age requirement for carriers. They want to see 90 days, a year, 2 years sometimes. Not all of them. Some of them will give you a shot when you first start out, but you are going to be limited. And any limitation in this industry, no matter what that limitation is, it will slow the amount of money that you make. But that's just a temporary thing. Obviously, as your authority ages, then you don't have to worry about that stuff anymore. Another downside, I don't know if you'd call it a downside, but to starting your own authority is you carrying all the liability. If you have a wreck, lose the freight off your trailer or whatever, that's on you. And if it's higher than your insurance will cover, then that's really on you. You know, they can sue you. So leasing on, you don't have to worry about that. But leasing on obviously costs more. But right now you can lease on for 12% plus insurance, which equates to about 20% of your gross. So no liability on the lease on side, and you have somebody to do your carrier packets and your rate cons and your factoring and all that sort of stuff. And really at the end of the day, it only costs you, depending on how much you run and depending on your split, it only costs you an additional $400, $500 per week than it would if you started your own authority. So it's like some give and take, back and forth, ups and downs, pros and cons. But one of the biggest negatives for leasing on is, and I'm sorry to say this, but it's hard to find trustworthy people nowadays. And even if you do find a good company that's been in business for a few years, or 10 or 15 years, it doesn't mean that they're going to be in business 3 months from now. It doesn't mean that they're not going to go out of business and leave everybody hanging on their last paycheck. I've seen it happen. But anyway, I lease on right now because I think I found a pretty decent company. And like I said, it's pretty cheap to lease on right now. It didn't cost me anything up front. I just jumped in the truck, put his stickers on, and took off. Well, anyway, that's enough of that rant. Then I pulled over to a Love's and had some Sonic, and I spoke with Ryan.
I've never seen a Sonic with a phone before. So what do big rig truckers really think about Hotshotters?
I think it's a mixed bag. I know there's a lot of them that don't care for them. You know, they talk about, you know, taking you're taking loads away from the big rigs, but those loads are going to go to somebody anyway. So, you know, to me, it's more the merrier. As long as we keep, if you stop the trucking industry, whether it's Hotshots or big rigs, if you even slow it down, the economy's going to go with it. So you got to keep everything moving.
Right.
The biggest problem I've always had with Hotshots is they still drive like four-wheelers. They still drive like people in cars.
Right.
You know, I mean, you got to respect. If it's a 3-lane road, you got to respect granny camping and hammer.
Right.
So, you know, and a lot of times they don't because they've never been up where we're at. And I've hauled everywhere from 5,000-pound loads to 45,000-pound loads. You get a 45,000-pound load in the back of a dry van, that's an 80,000-pound piece of machinery going down the road at 75 miles an hour.
Right.
They don't stop quick. Hotshots can.
Yeah.
So, spacing.
So give us an example, like you said, respect the hammer lane and the granny lane and the Hotshots. Give us an example what Hotshots need to be doing better out there on that. Like,
stay in your lane. If you're governed, if you're not governed, which I don't know of a hotshot that ever is.
No.
And you can, if you're sitting in a camper lane in the middle, camping's for the woods, not for the middle lane. So speed up, get the hell out of the way.
Right.
You know, if you got a truck, if you got a rig that comes up flying up behind you, don't sit there. You know, I mean, four-wheelers do that to us enough.
Right.
If there's no restrictions in the left lane, move the hell over. You know, I mean, and that goes for just about any trucker. I mean, whether it's Hotshots or big rigs.
Right.
You know, just respect the rules that are out there. They've only been in place since wheels started turning, so you know, it's amazing that people just don't oblige to it. It's nuts.
What cracks me up is the guy that comes on. There's no traffic. The guy that comes on the highway comes across both lanes and gets in the hammer lane with nobody around.
Yeah,
that cracks me up.
The biggest thing I've got, and not necessarily with Hotshots, but any driver, is the guy that's already ahead of me on the on-ramp. He's already in front of me. He's already got enough room. All he's got to do is stay on the pedal, you know, and merge over in front of me. But then he hits the brakes. And if I'm rolling at 60, 70 miles an hour going down the road with 80,000 pounds, I can't hit my brake set easily. It's just not going to work.
Yeah.
You know, so, and on-ramps were designed for getting up to speed.
Right.
You should be, before you merge over, you should be as fast as you can possibly go. There's times when I've merged over and I'm going 35 miles an hour because it was an uphill ramp and I'm fully loaded.
Right.
It happens. It sucks,
but if you're in a functional, somewhat decent newer car, there's no reason you shouldn't be going 70 when you hit the highway.
Or quite frankly, if you're a hotshot and you see that guy that's over next to you, get in front of him. Go 90 if you can.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, yes, I'm saying break the law, but better break the law than break my truck.
Right.
Break your truck.
Break your head, yeah.
You know, I mean, if you slam on the brakes, it's hard to tell what your tires are going to do. It's hard to tell what your brakes are going to do. I just watched a video this morning, and it's from a few weeks ago, but a semi going down the road, I want to say he was on I-30, and according to him, a steer tire locked up, causing him to swerve. Well, when he swerved, his load shifted, it ripped his trailer in half, flipped his tractor, totaled everything. And I mean, only by the grace of God, it didn't kill anybody.
Right.
But it also shut down the entire interstate for hours on end.
Right.
You know, that easily can happen if you go to slam on the brakes. The brakes can lock up.
Yeah.
So, you know, just be courteous. Either one of two things. Either be courteous to people around you or just be a selfish son of a... That, you know, and you're only worried about yourself, because either way, you're going to stay out of everybody else's way.
Right.
So... that's simple.
Well, appreciate it.
And I drove for a little bit further, took a nap for about 2 hours, and I got back on the road. See, that Irving-Arlington load fell off. Was an issue between the broker, I guess, and the customer. They didn't have a load going to New York, only to Lubbock, which is not the direction I'm headed. So that load fell off. I kind of slowed down and decided to reschedule the Tyler, Texas for tomorrow morning and then still complete the Conway, Arkansas tomorrow afternoon, Lord willing. I thought about not posting a video today, but then it wouldn't be a daily vlog now, would it? And like I said in yesterday's vlog, I really need to post every day to give you a more cohesive look at what this lifestyle is like. I want to post every day, regardless of what happens, because that way you'll see the good and the bad eventually. So even if you have to sit through some of these boring, no action vlogs, at least there'll be transparency. And that's what I wanted going into this vlog, is transparency. In the spirit of helpfulness, information, education, what have you. So thanks for all the support, the subscribers, the comments, questions, and everything. It's really motivational. I appreciate it. I'll see you guys in the morning. Until next time, be safe out there on the road, y'all.
Number 15, Supersonic Burrito, Cheesy Tots, and a Strawberry Limeade.
I'm going for it.